Hi, everybody, and welcome to Let's Chat. And I am here today with Nadine Hanchar. And Nadine is a counselor, a consultant, speaker, and trainer since 1986. She specializes in working with trauma, abuse, relationship issues, and communication. Instead of the client having to fit the therapeutic mold, Nadine is using an approach which includes many types of traditional and non-traditional methodologies. Therefore, the therapy is designed to fit you, the client. A results-oriented approach is designed to resolve the root causes of issues. This allows the person, couple, family, or organization to go forward with a better quality of life. Nadine's certifications and methodologies are in. She's a certified counselor of private practice, a certified master trainer of the NLP, certified master practitioner in counseling applications of the NLP, certified master timeline therapy practitioner, certified hypnotherapist, can't even talk anymore, a certified hypnotherapy trainer, American Institute of Hypnotherapy, certified iridologist, and nutritionalist. Well, welcome, my dear. And can you read my eyes and tell me what's going on with me lately? I seem to be kind of all in la la land sometimes. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Brenda.
All right. So great to talk to you again. So we have some good conversations on this. So our question today is, how do I know if my relationship is healthy or just needs a little work? And I think in today's society where people jump in marriage and jump out of marriage so fast that, you know, how do they tell? So take it away, my dear.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that you need to look for in terms of, is this a healthy relationship, is, are you walking on eggshells? Are you giving up your needs to, are you not asking for your needs? Is it not a balanced relationship? Do you still have friendships? Do you still have outside interests? Do you have your own friends, and do you have friends as a couple? These are all things that you need to sort of look at if your relationship is healthy or not. In terms of a healthy relationship, when you have a healthy relationship, both of you want to work on whatever the issues are. And both of you want to improve your communication. Both of you, and communication is a big one in relationships. I mean, that's one of the things that I specialize in. And sometimes we have different communication styles. Sometimes we have, we use language is an interesting thing, because you can actually, with language, you can be saying the same thing, but you're using different words, and some people get really stuck on that. So, what else here? A lot of people that are in relationships that are having sexual issues, or, they have different libidos, or they have, they have schedules where they're not seeing each other much, and things like that. Those are things that you can work on in couples therapy. And, so there are a lot of issues that are just healthy, issues. Some people have difficulty with conflict, particularly if they've come out of a relationship that conflict meant violence, or conflict meant, it was a scary thing. Conflict is actually healthy in relationships. Having, getting things out on the table and clearing the air and asking for what you want and asking for what you need, and something's bothering you, telling the other person that it's bothering you. In a healthy relationship, that's a conflict, or having a discussion. It doesn't have to be a yelling match. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. If it's being disrespectful, or that, then you need to look at that. But there are lots of ways to communicate, and conflict is important to do it healthily.
Yeah, there's one, I'll go back to when you said communication, and that is probably a very key one, where you can say exactly the same thing to each other, but in a different way. And Bud and I ran into this quite a bit when we were building, because I mean, when I get stressed, I need to build. I need to build buildings. You know, like I need to build a barn. I need to build a shed. I need to build. I need to expel that energy. And I can draw it out on a napkin what I want, and then I can go out there and say, okay, this is what we're doing. And Bud will say, well, this is what we're doing. And I'll say, no, this is what we're doing. And when it really boils down to it, it took a while to get this figured out, because we were just like two rams butting heads. And we realized we're saying exactly the same thing, just in different ways, you know. So it became more evident that I draw out my ideas and say, this is where this is going, and this is where this is going. And then Bud will come along and say, well, this is where we need to go here. And yeah, communication is key. And it took me a bit to figure out that what he was saying and what I was saying was exactly the same thing, just differently.
Yeah, as you know, I specialize in personality profiling, and I can have a couple in my office and they process quite differently.
Yes.
And yet they're saying the same thing, but they're saying it in a very different way. And, for, there's 24 different processing styles out there. So, we and 4 different communication styles. So when you actually are talking in the English language, you're actually having 4 different, totally almost different languages in the same language.
Yeah, believe me, I feel that.
And so it's learning how to, be able to be bilingual, so to speak.
Yes.
With your partner, so that you can, bridge that gap, right? Bridge those communication styles and bridge the way that you're, understand each other and be willing to do that. That's important.
Yeah, that was hard. When they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus, they weren't kidding when, it came to that communication style. And I mean, even talking about intimacy and things like that, what you want and what you don't like, can be taken, if you're not having a careful conversation, can be taken as, complaining or disrespecting or things like that. So I think we have to learn how to become very comfortable in talking with our partners about everything and anything. Whether you cry together at movies, or okay, this is going to sound gross, you pass gas. It's because, believe me, some people don't do that in front of their partner, and I'm thinking it's a natural bodily thing. I can't help it. So you have to be able to really become comfortable and intimate in the communications with your partner.
Oh, absolutely. And, communication is more than 50% of a relationship.
Yeah.
So, and even your sexuality within the relationship is a form of communication. So, you really need to learn to communicate well. And there are some topics that are quite commonly difficult for couples to talk about.
Yeah.
Some of it has to do with, however they've been brought up. Sexuality is one of the things that people have a lot of difficulty talking about. I talk about it pretty much on a daily basis, so I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But, and that's also an important issue. Like if your therapist is when you get it, if you're going to a therapist, make sure they're comfortable themselves talking about those topics, because I've had clients come in and they're not comfortable, and they just clammed up, and they wouldn't tell what's going on. So I'm often the first therapist that they've talked to, that they feel they can talk to.
Yeah.
But it's
intimacy is a big one, and I think there's many degrees of intimacy, and I think a lot of people equate that intimacy is sex and coupling and that sort of stuff, but there are so many couples out there that do not have the sexual interaction, the intimacy, the intercourse, if you want to say it just bluntly, but for whatever reason, health reasons, or other reasons, for whatever reason those are, so they they feel that that part of their marriage is dead, but it's not really, because intimacy is the hugging, is the talking, is the communicating, is the being there and just saying I love you every day, a peck on the cheek, showing appreciation. Those are all forms of intimacy that I I think people need to enhance more and take the pressure off of how well am I performing in bed.
Yeah, and you know, that's so true, Brenda, that there's so many types of intimacy. And again, the more you can actually have that intimacy in your day-to-day life, not you know, it's not that you're always wanting to have sex,
Yeah.
but you do need to have that intimacy, and you do need to have that feeling that your partner, you know, wants to be with you, that your partner wants to you know, to have that intimacy with you, that connection with you. Otherwise, really, you're just roommates.
Yeah, because if your partner or if your relationship dies because you can't have sex, then what kind of relationship did you have? That your relationship was solely based on, you know, the physical interaction. And I know that when people get together, it's like, you know, euphoric, and it's like you're teenagers, and you know, you can be like rabbits or whatever. But you know, sooner or later, that's a progression of your relationship, is that intense intimacy slowly wanes because other things take place and come in. And you know, so for people not to freak out.
Well, I do want to say that's true in some relationships. It's
Yep.
not true in all relationships. So I want to put that out there,
Yep.
because that, you know, again, there's 24 different styles out there.
There's 24 different styles out there. I'm just speaking from, I'll say, experience and what other people have said to me, and those conversations. So if you can, you know, give her forever, great. If you can't, it's not the end of your relationship. Anyway, I guess
Yeah,
we better kind of,
and you know, there are many types of sexual encounters as well, and you know, there are many types of intimacy. There's many types of communication intimacy. You know, so I mean, I think that the key here is, do we want to make this relationship the best we can make it? Do we want to communicate the best that we can? Am I am i willing to speak up when I have, you know, excitement and the things that I'm excited about? Am I willing to speak up when I'm upset or I'm angry? Am I willing to speak up when I need something? Am I willing to speak up, you know,
mhm,
to ask for what I want?
yeah.
You know, I think that, you know, being healthy means being assertive. And you know that being assertive is not being submissive, and it's not being aggressive. It's actually being respectful of yourself first,
Yeah.
and of the other person, and demanding respect from the other person for yourself. So you know, that's I think where the healthy part comes in.
Yep, so true, so true. Well, thank you very much, my dear, for this enlightening conversation. It's always exciting when we get chatting about different things. So, anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. And please remember that this is for knowledge base. So, if you are in therapy now, couples therapy, singles therapy, this is not to replace it. It's just to give you some information so that you know where you're standing, and guidelines, you know, of is my relationship healthy or not. If you're walking on eggshells, then there's something wrong. If you can be there and be yourself, then you are in a healthy relationship. So thank you again, Nadine, for everything, and we will talk again soon.
Thanks, Brenda.